At least 12 households and a guest house have been gutted down by a runaway veld fire in Ba-Phalaborwa, Limpopo. Scorching high temperatures are believed to have sparked the fire in the bushes, which spread to nearby houses. Ba-Phalaborwa Mayor Merriam Malatjie says firefighters were able to extinguish the fire overnight, but are cautiously monitoring the development of another one due to the continuing hot weather. SABC reporter Pimani Baloyi joins us live now with the very latest. Pimani, good morning. It's a very disturbing story, this one. Are there any fatalities or injuries sustained at this point?
Good afternoon, Fundo, and good afternoon to our viewers. At this point, Fundo, fortunately, there has not been any injuries or fatalities. People managed to get out with their lives when the fire started developing. But Fundo, I'm coming to you live from in front of one of the 12 households that you were talking about here, which is owned by a Dr. Mabunda. As you can see behind me, Fundo, everything was completely gutted down. When we spoke to the owner of this property, who told us that, everything, including school uniform, food, their furniture and everything was completely gutted down. That the only things that they were able to save in this household behind me, Mfundo, was the vehicles, because fortunately when the fire reached this household, there was a 14-year-old inside and his younger sister, who was 4 at the time, and they managed to access the car keys and gave them to neighbors who managed to drive the vehicles out of the property before the thatched roof fell in and gutted everything else that was in the household. And we've also driven around the town, Fundo. The damage is extensive. People have completely lost everything. But as you were saying, there's also a business facility, a guest house that was also affected. We started there and we spoke to the brother of the owner, who told us that today happens to be the birthday of the owner of that facility, and unfortunately she's unable to celebrate her birthday as she has to deal with the damage to her business property. But we've also seen neighbors trickling in at each and every household that has been affected, trying to see where they can help in terms of cleaning up and ensuring that life is able to resume for the affected families. But we've also seen relatives, specifically here at Dr. Mabunda's household. Relatives have gathered here, sitting here, bringing the family comfort, trying to show them that they're not alone as they go through this. But Fundo, I want to bring in government to find out what sort of assistance has been brought in to assist the family. So I'm joined by the mayor of Ba-Phalaborwa municipality, Mayor Merriam Malatjie. Mayor, thank you so much for your time. First of all, we've been hearing different numbers on social media. There's speculations, some saying the affected households could go up to 20. But your preliminary numbers, how are they looking? How many families seem to be affected by this natural disaster?
On the preliminary report, I will say up to so far we are having 13 households and 1 guest house, which all in all it's 14.
And we got in here, we spoke to Dr. Mabunda. She told us about how you were swift to personally come here. The executive mayor, Mr. Shai, was also swift to come in and offer your comfort words, but also offer some assistance. Let's talk through what sort of relief measures, temporary relief measures, government has put in place to help the affected families.
Firstly, as Council of Ba-Phalaborwa today, we met. We were having to go and have a council resolution where we are declaring the state of disaster, and we have done that. And from now on, tomorrow, we'll be having committees who will sit and make sure that we see how to deal with the situation, because it's a disaster indeed. And the district municipality is the one who's championing the issue of the disaster, and they are assisting the local. Together with the disaster, with the stakeholders, we are going to join hands together, assist all those families. But we will make sure that we inform all the stakeholders of what are we going to do for them. For now, we can't disclose because we are not really sure which damages, what are they expecting from us. But we are still even waiting for COCTA to come down and also assist us, because the declaration indicates to each and every stakeholder that now we can come on board and assist all the families that are affected.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I understand that there are disaster management falls within the district municipality, but also to a certain extent COX, that the provincial department. But you are here on the ground. You are the first to get to the scene and all of that. This is a natural disaster that no one preempted and we had no way to know. But it could occur again because it's still very hot here in Phalaborwa. The wind is still blowing very strongly, so it might happen again. I just want to know measures put in place to ensure that should it occur again, it's quickly contained to one area. Are there such teams on standby to ensure that it doesn't get to this extent again?
Teams are there, and we are having even water trucks, and we are the thing that was happening around here. It was not even requesting a water truck. It was needed a chopper. That's why we end up having a chopper which assisted us yesterday. And at night it can't work. It only works during the day. So the systems are going to be in place. If they were there, we have got standby workers. They were all over, workers from the district, workers from the locals. They were on the bush assisting. Systems are in place. We just want to add more systems with our stakeholders who will be engaging with our PMC, FOSCO, also the SANDF. More trucks are needed in Phalaborwa because it's a hot place. Really, we need to do something, and we are going to make sure that our systems are put in place.
As we wrap up, Mayor, you mentioned that there were teams that worked, some couldn't work overnight, but I just want a confirmation from where we're standing. We've heard that there's been no fatalities and there's been no injuries, even in the teams, the response teams that came. Can you confirm that at this point there were no injuries and fatalities?
No injuries were there and no fatalities. And what I want to add, want to thank the members of the community, including the local CPF, the wood sprayed farmers, the tourism industry, each and every stakeholder around Phalaborwa, our PMC, our FOSCO. They were here assisting us in each, and food were there. We make sure that clothes are there. Lodges were there to accommodate them free of charge because of the assistance of all the stakeholders. We really appreciate from the bottom of our heart.
Thank you so much, Mayor. That is the Mayor of Ba-Phalaborwa local municipality here in Phalaborwa, talking to the assistance that they've been offering to families that last night lost their entire property due to this veld fire that was running away and caught up with many families. As she was stating, a total of 14 properties have been affected. 13 of those are homestays of people who live in this community, but one of them is a business property. Families are asking for assistance. We spoke to several neighbors who also came in and saying that, they've also been handing in whatever they can to ensure that people are able to eat and that kids will be able to return to school tomorrow, because people lost their school uniforms, they lost all their clothing, and at this point the mayor said it has been declared a disaster area. So government resources will be directed here to ensure that there is relief for all of those affected. Mfundo?
Pimani, it was certainly a very disturbing story, but quite commendable, the swift response on the part of government. We'll leave it there for now. That's our reporter, Pimani Baloyi, out in Limpopo for us.